Anne, the Stampmaven here. It's Monday night, so that means it's another live. I gotta tell you, our weather today here in North Texas has been crazy. I work virtually at my day job most days, and we did not lose power today, but probably half of our employees did. My kids lost power on and off during the day, and I am just trusting God tonight that we are not going to have any interruptions. I've got a great fun fold card that actually pops out to teach you tonight. And I'm also going to show you a new collection of products that's coming March 1st. You are just going to love these. So without further ado, let me flip my camera around and we will get started. All righty. Hope everybody's been having a good day so far today. All right, here we go. I've got it ready to go. Let me show you the card that I'm going to be teaching you tonight. You can see this part here that pops out, and then it actually has the greeting part on the inside. This is a birthday one, and I've also done a thank you one that says this isn't just a thank you card, it's a hug with a fold in the middle. So I think this is just pretty darn cute. So let us get started. And if you have been watching my lives, you know that I always post the recording after we're done live, and I will also post the measurements in case you want to make one or more of these cards for yourself. All right, we're going to start with a piece of Bermuda Bay cardstock that is 5.5 by 11 inches. And I have scored it at 1 3/4, 3.5, 5 1/4, and 7 inches. And this is basically going to be your mechanism, and you just fold it accordion style, and then of course you can bring in your bone folder and do your creasing, which I've already done. Now, the inside piece, I have a piece of basic white cardstock. You'll actually be writing on this part, and it is 5 inches by 7.5 inches, and it's scored at 3 1/4. I'm going to do the same thing with my bone folder. So now we've got that piece ready to go. I'm also going to be using a piece of Petal Pink. Hey there, Kay from North Carolina. Do you have snow your way yet? This Petal Pink piece is 4 1/4 by 5.5. And our card base is eventually going to go on this to just set it off a little bit and give it a little bit of pizzazz. All right. Now, as I showed you earlier, here is this little part that is going to pop out, and we are going to create that now. So I brought in my paper trimmer and my Bermuda Bay piece. Now, I want my score lines, these 4 score lines, at the top of my paper trimmer. Now, if you have one of our paper trimmers, you know it has 2 blades, a scoring blade that's gray, and then this darker gray one is the cutting one. That's the one we're going to be using. Now, I'm going to take the right edge of my paper and I'm going to line it up. I'm going to hold this up here and show you. I'm going to line it right up at this 1 1/4 inch mark, so it'll be right there. Okay, let me get that set so I can show you. Okay, then you'll notice that I'm going to start my first cut right here at this first score line, which also just happens to be 1 3/4 inches on my cutting blade. You can see it right here where, let me point it with my bone folder. It's right there, and that is exactly where my score line is. I'm going to bring my blade down to my 3 3, wait a minute, my 3 1/2 mark. So we're going to follow over one score line, and then we're going to go down to this second one, which is right here, and it is at 5 1/4. I told you the wrong one. So we started at 1 3/4, brought it over this first score line here, and then we ended right here at 5 1/4, and there's a little tick mark. So here you see what we've cut right here. All right, now we are going to flip it around and do the exact same thing on this side. So I'm going to line it up at 1 1/4. I'm going to bring my blade right here at that little score line, which is also 1 3/4. I'm going to bring it right down here to the 5 1/4. And now you'll notice I have my cutout piece. Now, how that is going to fold is, let me do it the right way. We're going to pull up this part, and it's going to go in just like this. So you'll notice you have a valley fold, 2 little valley folds here, then you've got your mountain fold here, and it's going to go in like that. Now, let me move my trimmer here so we can put some of the other pieces in there. I'm going to bring in my bone folder and just give that a good crease because I want it to open the way it should. All right, next thing, I'm going to bring in my inside here. And I'm actually going to go ahead and stamp that before I adhere it. Now, mine is going to be a birthday card, and I am using this Here's a Card stamp set, the Happy Birthday one, which is right here. And I wanted something on the inside that kind of coordinates with that. So I got out my Bloom and Grow stamp set, and we're going to use this sentiment right here. Let's celebrate you, because I think it looks good together. All right, I'm going to grab my Bermuda Bay ink, and I am going to ink it up here. All right. And I'm going to stamp this right in the middle. Let's see if I can get it straight for you guys tonight. All right. Now, when I do this, I like to kind of rub over it. I don't want to press too hard, especially when I'm stamping on Whisper White. I like to just hold it there for a minute to make sure that that ink transfers. Look at that. I did it perfectly. which I don't always do, but here's a little tip for you while I'm cleaning this off with my chamois. If you, for some reason, maybe when you're stamping, you don't get it, you know, like all of the letters done, if you have the coordinating color in the Stampin' Right markers, then you can just fill in. As a matter of fact, on my original, that's what happened. I didn't press hard enough, so I had to come back in with my markers, and you can't even tell. All right, now let's close this up. And, of course, I've got ink on my finger. Do y'all do that? I tell you, I've been stamping for over 18 years, and sometimes I feel like I am back in kindergarten doing finger paint and getting this ink all over my hands. All right, so now I'm going to bring in my silicone mat, and I'm going to use that to do my adhesive on it. Now, you may notice, I don't know if you can hear, but there is no adhesive coming out. Well, when that happens, I just run it on my mat, and that engages it again, and I can just go on my merry way and keep putting down my adhesive. Sometimes that happens because we push too hard. With our old snail adhesive, most of us, you know, put our finger on there and push so hard, and you don't have to do that with the new seal, and it just adheres wonderfully. Now, let me show you another tip. Do you ever have trouble getting your layers straight? A tip that I tell my customers, if you put one corner down, then get the other corner line down, then you can go around and push it, and it is down there perfectly straight. Sometimes if you do the top layer first and then go down, if you have just get it down a smidge off, it's hard, you have to rip it back up. But if you just do the corners, that makes it a little bit easier. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is I'm going to put my base on my petal pink. So let me get my adhesive here again and use my little trick if I'm pushing too hard. I really do love this adhesive. You get more on a roll, and if it sticks, like I was saying, you just run it on this mat and easy peasy it comes back. All right, so now let me move this up here. We'll do my little corner trick again. Get this one down, get this one down, and look at that. It is just straight as an arrow. Okay, now we need to make the card pretty, right? You're not going to give it to somebody like this. So we are going to be using more products out of this wonderful suite. Let me just give you a sneak peek. You as customers, or if there are any demonstrators that are on here watching, you've already gotten to pre-order it. Customers can get it on March 2nd. Now, what I want to show you, this is the stamp set, and I have not put my label on yet, but one thing you can notice, it is all in one piece here. And there are these lovely dies that go with it. There's the detailed butterflies, but look, look, look. Here is one die, and this is a sheet of the Designer Series paper. And let me bring in the sheet before I punched it so you can see what I'm talking about. here is the full sheet. This die fits right on top of it perfectly. You roll it through your cutting machine, and all these lovely butterflies just fly out. And we're going to use a couple of those butterflies. This paper, guys, is so fabulous. Let me just kind of go like this so you can see some of these colors. It's got Bermuda Bay, it's got Magenta Madness, it's got Coral, it's got Pool Party, there's yellow in here. Oh my goodness, it's just awesome. And there's also some specialty paper that is really light that works really well with this too. It's in a different part of my stamp room, so I'm not going to run and get it right now. So now let's get cracking here and make our card pretty. So I am going to use this sheet right here, and it is 6 by 6, but I need it to be 5 inches. So what I did on another piece, and I just wanted to show you, is I turned it this way because I need my pattern going this way even on this little 1-inch piece. So I just turned my piece like this, put it in my trimmer at 5 inches, and sliced off 1 inch. Okay, are you with me so far? I'll take a peek before I end this video and see if y'all have posted any questions. So for my card, I need 2 pieces that are 1.5 by 5. So we've already got the 5, so I'm going to cut 1.5, and I'm going to cut 1.5. I'm going to set these aside. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is we need a couple of little strips. So I need 1/2 inch strips. So I'm going to cut 2 of those. There's 1, and there's 2. Now, we only need them to be 3 3/4, and I'm actually going to use this back side, so I really don't have to worry about the way that pattern is going. So there is my first piece at 3 3/4 by 1/2, and here's the other one. All right, so now I'm going to bring in that piece that we cut up earlier, and I need 4 pieces that are 1.5. So I have got 1, 2, 3, and then there's the final one. So let's set these over here. Okay, now this is the piece that I have left, and I only need 1 more small piece that is 1 1/4 by 2 1/4. All right, so it really doesn't matter the direction because, again, I'm going to use the back side. So I'm going to do my 2 1/4 by 1 1/4. And I'm sure I'll find something to do with these other little pieces that are left over. Okay. Now, I think I'm done with my trimmer. So I have a couple more small pieces of my petal pink. And this larger one is 2.5 by 2.5. This smaller one is 1.5 by 2.5. Then I've got a small piece of white. It's basic white. I'm sure you know that we don't have Whisper White anymore. The manufacturing place that did our Whisper White and our envelopes, sadly, it went out of business due to COVID, but I've gotten the thick basic white and the regular basic white, and it works just great. All right, so now I am going to stamp my birthday greeting that I mentioned earlier, my happy birthday. And let me go ahead and ink that up. Let's see if I can stamp straight a second time tonight. Boy, that would be great. I could be pulling in my Stamparatus. Well, that's a little crooked. So I am going to go ahead and do it again and see if I can get a little bit better this time. Y'all know that Stampin' Up! Paper has two sides, right? So you don't have to worry. Yeah, I know, that's a silly joke. Okay, so now we are going to take this white happy birthday piece, get my mat again, put a little adhesive on that, and we're going to stick it here on this petal pink. We'll use that in a bit, but let me show you. I am going to decorate this front piece, and I want to show you something else that's going to be really sweet. Hey, Maria, about this butterfly suite. Do you recognize this punch? It is in our annual catalog. It is our butterfly duet punch. Well, I want to show you, look right here. This little butterfly fits this little butterfly perfectly. So I've got this one little butterfly. You could use either side of it, and I'm going to save that here, put some adhesive on the back, and I am just going to put this little butterfly right here on the top of my birthday card. I just thought that was the coolest thing, and there's actually another piece in the paper where this butterfly will fit over it too. So if you don't want to get the dies, you could just use this punch. You could also fussy cut out a bunch of those as well. All right, so now we are going to put the rest of this baby together, okay? So I've got my pieces, my 1.5 inch pieces that I cut out. They're going to go here. So let's go ahead and get some adhesive on there. We're going to put the one right here. I use Bermuda Bay all the time. It is one of my favorite Stampin' Up! Colors. So I was so excited when this butterfly collection came out that has Bermuda Bay in it. Whoops, there we go. Now, I'm using, like I told you, this Stampin' Seal. Another great adhesive to use is this multi-liquid glue. The reason for that is sometimes if you use the tape runner, you get in the habit of like going and using way too much, and then you have to ruin your paper when you get it off. This green glue is a little more forgiving, so you might want to try that instead. Okay, so now here we've got our little 1.5 inch pieces, and they are going to go on all of those little areas. So let me go ahead and put those down. Now, this paper, of course, is double-sided, so if you wanted to use this side, you easily could. Just make sure if you're using a pattern, excuse me, a pattern on your paper that you have it going the right way. All right, so there's the little third one. And let me get my fourth one here. Okay, stick that down. Now, the next, here's my little piece of petal pink. And here is the other piece. I'm going to flip it over because I want it to look like this. All right, so we're going to get this on. Okay, let's get that straight. Do my little corner here and here. There we go. Now, where this is going to go is, okay, there we go, is going to go right on this panel right here. It's going to just give it a little pretty pop right there. All right. Now, we've got one more thing to do, and that is our sentiment piece. Now, very important. Well, we actually have two more things to do, but we are going to put our adhesive all over the back of this piece. And then, when we put it down on our card, we are going to center it right here, and we want that adhesive all over the back because we want it to stick down. So when we open it up, it's going to be like this. Now, you'll notice when I stamped the inside here of the part that is on this inner white paper, I made sure that I was going to stamp it so that this outside covered it so you wouldn't see it. You could also stamp in here as well. I'm not going to stamp in here because I'm going to probably write a long note on this. So the last thing now that we're going to do, we're going to take these little 1/2 inch by 3/4 inch pieces, and we are just going to stick them in here and make just a fun little border that will kind of finish our card off. All right, now you may have been watching this card and thinking, oh, Anne, this is too much work. You know, I don't know about this. Well, guys, this is a card that you would send to your bestie, your partner in crafting crime, the one who will never tell your husband how much you spend. Or maybe you want to make one for your mom. Mother's Day is coming up, and you might want to just show her how much you do love her, and you're so sorry for all those gray hairs that you put on her head. You will definitely impress anybody who gets this card. Now, one other thing you could do, and again, I'm going to put the measurements on here. You could just cut up some copy paper. You could cut up some cardstock that you've bought that you maybe hate the color and you're wondering, why did I buy that? Does anybody else do that? You could cut up a catalog. That way you could practice making it. And I betcha that once you make one or two of these, that it will just be a snap for you. Let me show you. I did a live over the weekend, but I wanted to show you some other cards that I made using these butterfly pieces that I popped out with the die. I think this is my favorite one with this pink. And then here's another one with the mint macaron. I used smoky slate for my card base, and then I actually just embossed this layer here, and I brought in some black cardstock, and this is some thin black ribbon from our current mini catalog, and it actually is part of the Little Love Suite. All righty, let me just take a little step over to my computer and see if you posted any questions really quickly. Of course, you know, once I've posted the recording, if you have questions, feel free to leave them here in the comments as you're trying to make your card. I am happy to answer those. And Rhonda, yes, please come back and watch later. The recording will be here, and I will also post it on YouTube. I hope you've enjoyed this card, and I hope you'll give it a try. Remember, March 2nd, you will be able to order all these fun Butterfly Brilliance collection products. So I'll say goodnight from now, and if I don't see you before, oh, thanks, Kay. I appreciate that. I will see y'all next Monday with another live. Bye-bye.